What's up, guys? We are back again with some patch notes. Time for patch 7.14 this time. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to try to keep it relatively short. However, I'm going to go over some more things I did last time. Last time I kind of just rushed over everything, and it kind of came out pretty bad. Also, last time, I don't know why, I just didn't sound very enthusiastic. So this time, hopefully, it's a little bit more enjoyable. Hopefully, you guys can get something out of it. So let's have a look through these patch notes together. So this patch is the patch that Kane is coming out, the Shadow Reaper. So he's not released yet. He's going to come out during patch 7.14, which is interesting. I don't know if I like that or not. I'm not too fussed myself. However, it's just, I don't know if I like the way they've done that. It'd be nice if we could just play him right away, you know? So anyway, onto the champions that are getting changed in patch 7.14. So Alistar is the first one that we'll read, and his ulti is getting changed. It's basically just a buff. He can block more damage, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Alistar has kind of fallen out of meta a little bit in supports, so, you know, it's better to choose like Thresh. So I think hopefully this gives people more incentive to play him. We'll see what happens though. Caitlyn. The attack speed growth is down from 4% to 2%, which I like because I don't like playing against Caitlyn's. Caitlyn is just a very strong champion right now, so I think that's not a bad idea. It's not any damage gone, just attack speed, and you'll still build attack speed, obviously. So I don't think it changes too much, but hopefully it just makes it a little bit more fair. Cho'Gath, this is his new Vorpal Spikes, where it's for the next 3 basic attacks after he clicks it. It's not just a toggle on or off anymore. Which is okay because, well, I mean, you find yourself just trying to use your abilities as much as Cho'Gath. You're not really auto-attacking that much. Well, you were because, you know. Hopefully this brings Cho'Gath back into play a bit more. It's a whole big thing. So if you want to pause it now and just read it, or go and check out the patch notes yourself, I'll let you do that. I'm not going to really go over it. It's mainly just percent of max health, magic damage, I believe. And as well as some of your feast stacks. His Q, the damage is down at later ranks by 5, but the cost is lowered. His W is, the silence duration is longer at lower ranks. So Diana's also getting changed. The changes with Diana are interesting. We've got a new passive for her. So after her spell casts, she gains 20% attack speed for her next 3 attacks. In the jungle clears, I don't really think you're going to notice much, just because you weave your autos between your abilities, basically. The mana restore is quite nice, 15% of Diana's ability power, which is good. It's alright, I don't mind that, especially if you're playing her mid lane, and that is going to be really handy. Her Q is, the cooldown's being lowered, which is nice. Lower cooldown on your Q means lower cooldown on your ulti, pretty much. Her W is what's happening there, less mana cost at lower ranks, that's alright. The E, this is a new thing for her E, so it still does the old thing. And then increases Moonsilver Blade, so her passive, increases her passive's attack speed bonus to the scaling amounts there, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90%, which encourages you to max E second. I've spoken to one of my friends who plays a lot of Diana. He doesn't like this, which is fair enough, because it's encouraging you to max E, which you might not want to do at early ranks. So we'll see how that turns out. It's not bad. I still feel like it's going to be okay to just leave E until the last thing to max. So, who knows. Fiora is annoying right now. She's really strong. So let's see what they're changing with her. So her passive, Duelist Stance, I'm not really sure how it works. She just gains, I'm pretty sure she's just gaining movement speed near or after damaging someone or something like that. Excuse me for not knowing. That's my bad. But the bonus move speed is down just in general at all ranks. And the ultimate is her Duelist Stance move speed is no longer granted when you are close to the target. So that just makes it easier to run away from Fiora after she's ultied you because otherwise she was really sticky and she'd just stick onto you as well with a phage item, which you would normally build up into Black Cleaver. She would just stick with you the whole way, which was really annoying. Okay, Garen. Let's see what they're doing to Garen. So, passive modernization and buff. W now grants damage reduction and tenacity briefly after activation. EAD ratio per spin up. So that's basically what they're doing. Let's have a quick scroll down here and see what they're really doing. I'm only going to briefly touch on Garen, because it's changes, nothing really major. Basically, they're just changing the out-of-combat health regen for his passive to change the maximum health per 5 seconds. So instead of level 1, 11, and 16 being 2% at level 1, 4% at level 16, and 10%. Sorry, 4% at level 11 and 10% at level 16. It's now going to be 2% at level 1 and 8% at level 11. So you'll feel the effects sooner, but it's not as good early. I'm not sure if that makes too much sense. Okay, so the out of combat timer, here's where it changes, is, yeah, you'll feel the effects earlier. So instead of it being 4 seconds at level 16, it's out of combat for 4 seconds at level 11. And a new thing to his passive. Demacian Boldness. Regeneration increases to 4 to 16% maximum health per 5 seconds when Garen is below 25 to 50% maximum health at levels 1, 11. Okay, so this is the big buff that we're seeing. So the other ones are changes to when you will feel effects and how much you'll get generally, speaking, for when you're on 75% health. However, when you're on 20% health during lane at level 9, you'll get, 4% maximum health, or to 16 at level 11. So it gets better when he's weaker. So that's good. I don't mind that. His W, it's the same thing. So I kind of didn't touch over that with Alistar. It displays how much damage you are mitigating with your ultimate. It's the same with Garen and his W. It just displays how much damage you're mitigating, which is kind of nice. And Steel of Courage now grants Garen 60% damage reduction and tenacity for the first 0.75 seconds, returning to the normal 30% damage reduction for the remaining duration thereafter. So you click W, and it's basically I guess it's basically a cleanse that you have to use beforehand. So if you know someone's about to stun you, click W. And his E ratios are up slightly, 40% at max rank as opposed to 38. So up 2% for each rank, which is odd. I guess that's good. It's definitely good. It's definitely a buff, but I'm not sure what that's really going to do. So Rammus, basically he slows himself less when he clicks W, which is quite nice because I played a lot of old Rammus, and now with new Rammus, I find myself clicking W then E, and I always screw it up and they start running away and I can't click E. So this is kind of nice for if you accidentally do that, or if you want to just move around in W form, you are slowed for less, which means you're walking around slower, but it's not that bad. Okay. So okay. Small bug fix with the defensive ball curl now properly increasing the size of Iceborne Gauntlet's slow zone. Excellent. Singed. This is his big change. I'm sure you've all heard of it, so I'm not really going to go over it. Basically, his health has been buffed a bit to compensate for the to compensate for the loss of his passive, or the loss of his old passive. So his new passive instead is basically just being fast when you run through targets, which is nice. It's good for Singed, so that's really good. But you're not going to be able to be as tanky as you once were building full mana Singed, so things like Roa are not going to be as good. They'll still be okay, and they'll still be alright, but, his Q has been changed, more damage, his W now grounds targets, his E costs less mana at lower ranks, and his ulti costs less mana and has changes to the bonus stats. So I'm not going to really go into any more depth than that. You can look it up for yourself if you want. So Tarek, I haven't actually read this one, I'm not sure. So mana regen increased at early levels, Q heals more, charge model updated, E cooldowns higher early, lower later, E deals more damage and stuns for the same duration at all ranks. So the base stats, his mana regen is up. That's good. His mana regen growth is down, so you have better mana earlier. I'm not sure what's going on here, but basically from my... That's a lot of text. So, I'm not the biggest Tarek player. If you are, I'm sorry that I kind of touched over your champion. But let's move on to Yorick. His passive has been changed. So, Mistwalker, base damage down early game, Maiden of the Mist, health up late game, Mistwalker's more responsive, Graves more consistent. So that's pretty much all it is. He's got more range for his passive, more range for, you know, where he can spawn the Graves from, and his ultimate has more health, which is quite nice. The cooldown's also lowered on his ulti, which I find good. And things that happened mid-patch 7.13 was Nunu, his base health regen is down, and his armor is down. Zac, the stretching strike second hit range is down. Okay, let's move on to items. I'm only going to briefly touch on items because we've spent quite a while on champions. Big Thornmail change now builds out of a new item, Bramble Vest, Ruby Crystal and Warden's Mail, plus 400 gold, as you know, with the final recipe. It's been changed to give less armor, but it also gives health now. Costs quite a bit more, but you gain a lot more from buying it. So it's also got the Cold Steel passive from the Warden's Mail. Bramble Vest is basically just a small Thornmail, that's really all it is. The Ancient Coin line's been changed to basically a Janna passive, which I don't like. Being a Thresh player myself, I always go with Ancient Coin, and with this one, I just don't like it. It doesn't seem as strong. I'm still going to buy it, but I just think that it's not the best change, and it kind of feels like a cop-out for a whole quest for an item. You know, the other two things are really big. You get, you know, a Phage passive for your abilities with the AP one, and with the tank one you get a shield. Like, they're really good. This one now seems like a cop-out. Randuin's, I'm not sure what's happened here. The health is up. Okay, so that's it. Sweet. That needed to happen because Randuin's is not as good as it used to be. Okay, and the lethality items have changed now as well. It's a big lethality item change. And I'm not really going to go into detail about this, but my new favourite item to build on Assassins is Edge of Night, because the AD stayed the same, and it now gives flat 250 health instead of magic resist. So it's great for things like a Yasuo matchup in mid lane, or, you know, a Zed matchup in mid lane. It's really good. And it's really viable now. So Krugs, the medium-sized Krugs can now be smited, thank God. No, I'm kidding. That's just a bit of a change there. Self-explanatory. And just some other stuff here. We've got attack and ability queuing. And so attacks and abilities that aren't meant to be queued. You know, things like that. So here's all the list of affected abilities. I'm not going to read them off. If you want to pause the video and read it, feel free to. Rank flex is being changed. Fair enough. And that's just for high elo, so Diamond, Master and Challenger. Not many people have to worry about that one. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the patch notes, just a bunch of bug fixes there. And we are looking forward to some upcoming chromas there. So, that should be good. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you could leave a like or subscribe if you got through the whole video, that'd be great. Sorry I missed a few of these. I will be coming back next patch notes to deliver another one. Alright, see you guys.